Hi guys, welcome to Football Mad Cox, and today I'll be ranking the 2019 WWE pay-per-view main events ranked from worst to best. Obviously yesterday I released on Football Mad Cox the 2020 WWE pay-per-view main events ranked from worst to best. Today I'll be uploading the 2019 main events from worst to best. So there's 14 in total, just like 2020, so it's 14. So yeah, so let's just get started. So starting off with number 14, definitely the worst main event of the year. Number 14 is Hell in a Cell. The reason why is just the ending. Like, oh my god, the ending to this show, pay-per-view, was terrible, and this is why this is number 14. It was The Fiend versus Seth Rollins inside Hell in a Cell. So, Hell in a Cell, right? It's no disqualification. Anything goes in a Hell in a Cell match. And what did WWE do? Oh yeah, referee stoppage. It's Hell in a Cell. Hell in a Cell is where there's no disqualifications, no count-outs, anything goes in a Hell in a Cell match, and the referee's like, no, stop, he's dead, he's dead. No, he's not, the Fiend is still alive. It's the blooming Fiend, man. He's already dead, you idiot. And, yeah, it was no contest. To be fair, it wasn't, I wouldn't say it was good, but it was all right. You could hardly tell what was going on because of the red light. Like, what was the point of the red light? There was just no point. The red light was terrible. The booking was terrible. The match was all right. It had some spots. Seth Rollins frog splashing the Fiend through the table, and then at the end it just fell down with the Seth Rollins curve stomping the Fiend like God knows how many times. Started to get boring. Seth Rollins doing the same moves over and over again. The Fiend was out. Seth Rollins got chairs. He got toolboxes. He got ladders, and then he got the sledgehammer and hit him in the face. Even though there was stuff on top of the Fiend's head, the referee still stops the match. What is absolutely atrocious. Hell in a Cell 14 for me. The Fiend versus Seth Rollins. Worst pay-per-view ending. Worst pay-per-view main event of 2019 by far. So moving on to number 13. Okay, so number 13 is WWE Super Showdown 2019. And guess what? It's a Goldberg match! Who would have thought? Goldberg versus Undertaker at Super Showdown in Saudi Arabia. Blooming neck. Where do I start with this match? The Hell in a Cell match between The Fiend and Seth Rollins was good overall. It's just the finish what made it absolute crap, and what the ending is worse than Super Showdown. But Super Showdown's main event is bad. It is terrible. It's the worst match of 2019 by far. Goldberg versus Undertaker. They're both over 50 years old. Goldberg was like 52 at the time. Undertaker was like 54 at the time. And they put him in a ring in 2019, I know. And what happens? Oh yeah, Undertaker nearly breaks his neck. Goldberg, when Undertaker hit the tombstone on Goldberg, Goldberg's head landed right on the mat. Obviously Goldberg banged his head on the door before he got to the ring, before the match started. Obviously the blood wasn't that bad when he entered the ring. It's just when it started. Well, at the beginning, the match was actually not that bad. Goldberg was hitting spears. Undertaker was hitting choke slams. I couldn't really remember. But I remember it being good at the beginning. And then after that, when Goldberg hit his head on the post, that's when it went downhill. It became one of the worst matches I've ever seen in my life. Goldberg then tried to do a tombstone, drops him, drops Undertaker on his back, and then, oh boy, man, Undertaker nearly died, man. Undertaker almost died, and it was absolutely atrocious. Like, it just probably one of the most moments in WWE history is when one of the greatest of all time nearly died by nearly hitting his head onto the mat. Goldberg was setting up for the jackhammer, because there's no way Goldberg will be able to lift Undertaker up. There's no way. He's dazed. He's old. There's no way he can lift the Undertaker. And what happened? He got him up, and then he dropped Undertaker on his head. And it was shocking. It was atrocious. And it was actually mentioned on the Undertaker's Last Ride documentary as well. And it was a shame to see Undertaker angry after that match, because we were expecting a really good match between these two men, and it just became out to be a disaster and one of the worst matches in WWE history. But yeah, Super Showdown 2019, Goldberg versus The Undertaker, is one of the worst matches of all time, and it's definitely one of the worst pay-per-view endings, main events, to a pay-per-view. So Super Showdown in 13. It's not bottom though. But yeah, Super Showdown in number 13. So number 12 is WWE Money in the Bank. You see, it's the ending, man. Once again, it's a great match. It is a great match. It's just the ending that a man that wasn't even in the match, came out right at the end and won it, and that man was Brock Lesnar. He won the match, even though he wasn't in it. It was a great match overall. You saw Finn Balor go through absolute hell. He probably should have won it. Ricochet went through the ladder by Drew McIntyre. And then you had Ali, poor Ali, climbing up the ladder, trying to get the Money in the Bank briefcase. He has it. But no, they won't do it. Brock Lesnar came out, tipped the ladder, he climbed up the ladder and won the Money in the Bank briefcase. And it's just terrible, man. Bad stuff happened this year. This was one of them. This was definitely one of the worst moments in 2019, with Brock Lesnar winning it. But why? Brock Lesnar doesn't even need the Money in the Bank briefcase. You could have had Ricochet win it, even though he was a rising star back then, and he didn't even win it. Like, come on, WWE. And Brock Lesnar won it, even though he wasn't even in the match. And I think it was meant to be Braun Strowman that was in the match, I believe. Oh no, it was Sami Zayn, because I'm pretty sure Braun Strowman was meant to be at the match at first, and then Sami Zayn beat Braun Strowman in the last man standing match. I think the week of the Raw before Money in the Bank, and then Sami Zayn got took out and it was Brock Lesnar. So Brock Lesnar came out at the end and just won the Money in the Bank contract, what was stupid, and that's why Money in the Bank is in number 12, and it's one of the worst pay-per-view main events of the year. So moving on to number 11. Number 11, Stomping Grounds. Just, come on. Overall this show is shit, to be fair. But the main event was terrible. Obviously, the thing is, the only interesting thing about this match was the special guest referee. Who was the special guest referee going to be? So obviously the main event was Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin. Yes, Baron Corbin main eventing a pay-per-view. What? So, one, it was a terrible match. Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin, yeah, terrible match. But the main thing about this match was the special guest referee. Who will Baron Corbin pick to be the referee? Lacey Evans. Oh my god, why Lacey Evans? Like, just why? I know she had that feud with Becky Lynch at the time, but Lacey Evans was the referee. So Seth Rollins did win. But speaking of Becky Lynch came down to the ring. Seth Rollins' fiance came down to the ring. And yeah, she destroyed Lacey Evans, even though she was the special guest referee. Baron Corbin could pick the special guest referee, where a referee comes down, pins it. The person that should be pinning that match was Lacey Evans. She was the one supposed to get the pin, not a normal referee. That's not allowed. It should be the special guest referee. You can't change the referee. Like, you just can't. Like, oh my god, terrible, absolute terrible. 11 is stomping grounds. Terrible, absolute terrible main event. The main event, Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin, Lacey Evans, a special guest referee. Terrible, terrible ending to a show, and terrible main event. So yeah, stomping grounds at number 11. So number 10 is TLC. TLC Tables, Ladders and Chairs 2019's main event, I believe, was the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane versus Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair in a women's tag team TLC match. Why? Just why? You should have had Bray Wyatt versus The Miz as the main event. Not this travesty. This was crap, this match. No, I can't say it was crap. It was alright. And they just did similar things what they did back in 2018. When, obviously in that match, TLC 2018, it was Asuka versus Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair. It's basically the same match, just adding one person to it. Just adding one person to it. And guess who climbed the ladder and won it? Asuka. Because of course she did. Because they wanted to do the exact same thing what they did the year after. They did the same thing. TLC 2018, Asuka won the SmackDown Women's Champion. She climbed up the ladder to retrieve the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. And what did they do in 2019? Oh well, Asuka climbs up the ladder and between the women's tag team champions this time, but not the women's champion. It's just exactly the same match, just adding another person to it. It's just terrible, terrible. And obviously, Kairi Sane did suffer a serious injury in that match. To have her out for a couple of weeks. But then it was shocking, man. I did like the TLC 2018 match between Charlotte, Becky and Asuka in 2018. But 2019 show between Charlotte, Asuka, Becky and Kairi Sane, terrible. And that's why it's number 10. Terrible. So moving on to number 9. Okay, so moving on to number 9. Number 9 is Survivor Series. And it's a women's match again. Women main evented a few pay-per-views this year. It's good year for women, wasn't it, 2019? But was this a good match? No, it was Raw versus NXT versus SmackDown. For Raw, we have Becky Lynch. For NXT, you had Shayna Baszler. And for SmackDown, you had Charlotte Flair. Who won? Shayna Baszler. Because it was so predictable. We all knew Shayna Baszler was going to win because everyone knew that NXT was going to win anyway. It was really predictable. It was a boring match. It was just so boring. I can't say it was boring. It was better than the TLC main event. It wasn't. I wouldn't say it was really, really bad. I can't say it's really, really bad, but it's definitely one of the. It was definitely one of the weakest matches of that night. It shouldn't have been the main event. The main event should have been the 5-on-5-on-5 men's tag team elimination chamber match. In my opinion, that should have been the main event, but it wasn't in the end. I can't really remember much about this match. Becky Lynch and Shayna Baszler. It was mostly about Becky Lynch and Shayna Baszler this match. Shayna Baszler put that submission move, what she does on Bayley. Bayley passed out or tapped out, I forgot. And Shayna Baszler won the match. It was terrible. It was terrible. It was a terrible match. But number 9, Survivor Series. So yeah. So moving on to my number 8. Okay, so my number 8 is WWE Clash of Champions 2019. And to be fair, this is probably the show so far what is actually not that bad. I like this main event. And I'll tell you why. Braun Strowman versus Seth Rollins. It was a good match. I can't lie. It was a good match. It took a few curve stomps to take down the monster among men. Even a pedigree. It was, I believe Seth Rollins hit 4 curve stomps and a pedigree to beat Braun Strowman. That's more than Brock Lesnar, to be fair. So giving Braun Strowman a little push there, but he didn't win in the end, sadly. But at the end, the Fiend came out and attacked Seth Rollins. What would put their match, crappy match at Hell in a Cell. Yeah, I like that ending. The Fiend came out of nowhere. The lights went out. Seth Rollins celebrating. The lights went out, and the Fiend had him in the Sister Abigail to Seth Rollins, and then the lights went out again. But then it still wasn't over. The Fiend wasn't done with Seth Rollins, and the Fiend got him Seth Rollins was like sitting down, and the Fiend was standing up, and he was like this, listening to the Hurt Glove, and then a mandible claw, and it's to be fair, it's probably one of the best Fiend attacks what the Fiend has done. It was probably one of his best attacks. And yeah, number 8, Clash of Champions for me. Yeah, moving on. Number 7. Oh boy, I do like this match, but it could have been a lot better. Number 7 is WrestleMania 35. And the WrestleMania 35 pay-per-view was Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair. The first ever women's, the first time women main event in WrestleMania. And it was alright. It was good. But it's just the ending. The ending, man. To WrestleMania as well. We were watching this show for 5 hours thinking, what would be the ending to match? To be fair, we all knew that Becky Lynch was going to win, right? We all knew Becky Lynch was going to win because Ronda Rousey and Charlotte were heels. She was the only face that was in the match. Becky Lynch, we all knew that Becky was going to win. So it was so predictable. So we're like, who will Becky Lynch pin or submit? Imagine if Becky Lynch submits Ronda Rousey, kind of similar to what Daniel Bryan did with Batista. Daniel Bryan is Batista taps. With this one, they should have had Ronda Rousey tap. Instead, Ronda Rousey was looking for the Piper's Pit, and Becky Lynch reverses it. Her shoulders are down. 1, 2, 3, roll up. Becky Lynch wins. It was a screwy finish. And, oh God. It was a screwy finish. And it's sad. It's really, really sad. To the main event of WrestleMania, and the first ever women's main event of WrestleMania, and it's a screwy finish. Even though was Ronda Rousey's shoulders down, I believe Becky Lynch's were down as well. I couldn't really remember, but it was terrible. What a terrible! It was a great match, but it's just the ending that ruins it for me, and I cannot put this in the top 5. I just can't. So number 7 is WrestleMania 35. So moving on to number 6. So number 6, my number 6 is probably, this was probably one of the best pay-per-views of the year. But the main event was good. But number 6 is Extreme Rules. I love the main event to this show. Who was it? Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans. Yes, the Baron Corbin Seth Rollins storyline is still going, guys. It's still going. They had their match at Stomping Grounds. It was shite. But then to end the feud, they ended it with a great match. Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch, Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans. What performance from those 4 humans, those 2 women and those 2 men. Torn the roof down. It was a great match. Probably the move of that match is when Baron Corbin, end of days, Becky Lynch. Who would have expected that? Who would have expected that? Seth Rollins' face is like, he's so pissed off, and he's hitting Baron Corbin with kendo sticks and all that, and hits 3 curve stomps on Baron Corbin to win the match. To be fair, I like that ending, and it's pretty good. But oh yeah, that other thing what Seth and Becky did, where they had Lacey Evans and Baron Corbin. They got 2 tables out. They had Lacey Evans and Baron Corbin on the 2 tables, and then you just see Becky Lynch do that leg drop thing, what she does off the ropes, and then you had Seth Rollins just do an amazing frog splash on Baron Corbin through the table. That was amazing as well. And then the ending, oh yeah, Mr. Money in the Bank Brock Lesnar comes out because Seth Rollins went through hell in that match. He got hurt quite a lot in that match. And then Brock Lesnar's music hits, and the F5 Seth Rollins pins in 1, 2, 3. And that ended kind of ruined it a bit, but it was still, the match is what makes it one of the best matches of the year. So Extreme Rules is number 6 for me. So it just missed out on the top 5, sadly, for Extreme Rules. But oh well, not the end of the world. Not the end of the world, but Extreme Rules was good. It just missed out on the top 5 though. So moving on to number 5. Okay, so we made it to our top 5. My number 5 is WWE Fastlane. Wow. What a way to end the Shield's chapter. What a way to end the Shield. Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins versus and Dean Ambrose. The Shield reunited after Dean Ambrose turned on Seth a few months back. Last year. Well, a few years back. Back then it was like a few months ago. But it was against not a great team, to be fair. Baron Corbin, Drew McIntyre, and Bobby Lashley. I do not like that group, but it still was a great match, and it was a great way to end the Shield's final match, and a great way to end the Shield. It was an amazing match. They went all around the arena. They went through the WWE universe. To be fair, it was kind of similar to their match with Evolution. To be fair, it was kind of similar to the match with Evolution. I wouldn't say it was as good as their match with Evolution. If you're on about which Evolution match, I'm on about the Extreme Rules 2014 one, when they went through the crowd and all that. It was kind of similar to that, you know what I mean? And then, yeah, it wasn't as good as that, but yeah, who cares? But then you had the Shield and the others go around the stadium and the arena. You had the Shield triple powerbomb Drew McIntyre through the table. And it was just, I just remember it being an absolute great, amazing main event and a great match. And it was amazing match for the last ever match for the Shield. So yeah. But the reason why the Shield ended was because of Dean Ambrose. A month later, after when Dean Ambrose left WWE, he went to AEW as Jon Moxley, and I am missing the Dean Ambrose character. I'm missing the Shields. I am absolutely missing the Shields so much, and it's a shame we're never going to see that fist bump or those Shields vest ever again. What's a really big shame. But yeah, Fastlane is number 5 for me. What a match between those 6 men. They tore the roof down. And yeah, number 5 is Fastlane. So moving on to number 4. My number 4 is WWE Elimination Chamber 2019. Wow. The Elimination Chamber match, the men's Elimination Chamber match, was absolutely incredible. It was for the WWE Championship. It was Daniel Bryan, Kofi Kingston, Randy Orton, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, and Jeff Hardy. And oh my God, it was probably one of the best Elimination Chamber matches I've probably ever seen. And it was an amazing match. It was an amazing match, and what a way to end the show, and what a main event. Obviously Daniel Bryan did win, but it was kind of similar to the 2014 Elimination Chamber match with like Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton. That year it was between Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston, the final two. It's like, no way, Kofi's gonna win. It was like Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton back at Elimination Chamber 2014. It was down to those two men back in 2014. And it's like, Daniel Bryan's gonna win. Oh wait, no, he didn't. But yeah, Daniel Bryan. This time, Daniel Bryan was the heel. This time, with Kofi Kingston being the face. Kofi Kingston jumping off the pod, but misses. What's a shame. And then Daniel Bryan hits the running knee. So obviously, first man to eliminate, I believe, was Samoa Joe. It was a massive shame. Samoa Joe's an amazing wrestler. It's a shame that WWE. It's a shame that Samoa Joe has not had the best career out of everyone. But I believe he was the first to be eliminated in that match. And then Jeff Hardy got eliminated, AJ Styles got eliminated, Randy Orton got eliminated, and it was down to Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan. And we all knew now Kofi Kingston, he's been in the company for 11 years. Will he win the WWE Championship this year? And did he win the championship? Yes, he did back at WrestleMania 35. But he did not win it at the Elimination Chamber. But imagine if he did. If Kofi Kingston won this at the if he won that WWE Championship at the Elimination Chamber, this would probably be number one. I love this match, but it's just the ending. The winner. It did make sense who won. It did make sense that Daniel Bryan did win, but I would have preferred if Kofi Kingston did win. But yeah, but Elimination Chamber number 4 for me. So moving on to my number 3. So my number 3 is SummerSlam. Okay, I love this match. This is one of the best matches of the year. Brock Lesnar vs Seth Rollins. This is the match what they should have had at WrestleMania 35, in my opinion. This was such a better match than a WrestleMania Clash, in my opinion. It was a longer match. It was more fast-paced. Brock Lesnar did hit a few Germans on Seth Rollins. But what a way to end the match with Brock Lesnar looking for the German suplex. Seth Rollins flips over Brock. Brock Lesnar's like, what? And then Seth Rollins hits the curve stomp. 1, 2, 3. Well, I was really surprised that Seth Rollins won. Back then, in my predictions video, my SummerSlam 2019 predictions video, I said Brock Lesnar was going to win. I don't know why, but the reason why I said that, what do you mean, I don't know why? I do know why. Because the reason why I said Brock Lesnar was because Seth Rollins was injured before the match. Brock Lesnar destroyed Seth Rollins before the match on a Raw a few weeks before SummerSlam. But in the end, Seth Rollins did win. Oh yeah, and that thing what Brock Lesnar grabbed the bandages on Seth Rollins' stomach. And he's like swinging him around. That was so funny. Yeah, but Brock Lesnar vs Seth Rollins, probably one of the best main events. Probably one of the best main events in SummerSlam history. It was a great main event, and it was a great way to end a SummerSlam and a great way to end the show. So Brock Lesnar vs Seth Rollins, the main event of SummerSlam 2019, great. So SummerSlam 2019 is number 3. So moving on to number 2. So number 2 is WWE Royal Rumble. And I'm like, you're like, what? Royal Rumble? You normally put that at number 1. I know. Royal Rumble. The men's Royal Rumble back in 2019 was alright. You see, it was just alright. Probably the only thing I remember was the ending and when Randy Orton RKO'd Nia Jax, and that's probably all I remembered. Yeah, obviously Seth Rollins won the match. Seth Rollins actually curve stomped. The final 2 was between Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman and Seth on the apron, but who's gonna win? Braun Strowman's down on the apron. Seth Rollins curve stomps Braun Strowman on the apron, and Braun Strowman goes out the ring, and Seth Rollins won. But yeah, that RKO though by Randy Orton and Nia Jax, blooming heck, that was incredible. That was probably one of the best moments in Royal Rumble history. It was so good. And and Rey Mysterio did hit a 619 on Nia Jax as well. And Dolph Ziggler, he hit a super kick on Nia Jax as well. So, yeah. To be fair, it was probably one of the worst Final Fours ever. The Final Four was Seth Rollins, Braun Strowman, Andrade, and Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler in 2019 is in a Final Four in the Royal Rumble. Andrade, it kind of makes sense, because Andrade was a rising star back then, and it was his first ever Royal Rumble, so I'll give it to Andrade. He made it to the Final Four in his first ever Royal Rumble match, so you have to give it to Andrade there. But Dolph Ziggler in the 4th in, I think he came 3rd, I believe, in the 2019. In 2019. Jesus Christ. And obviously you had return of Jeff Jarrett at the beginning of the match, Double J. You had Kurt Angle in the match. And yeah, that's pretty much it, I believe. Yeah, oh yeah, you had Nowhere Jose eliminated in seconds. And yeah, Royal Rumble 2019, the main event, it was good. It was amazing. Great way. It was a good Royal Rumble, but most of the Royal Rumble's pissed over this Royal Rumble, to be fair. It's just, this Royal Rumble is there. The reason why I put it in front of SummerSlams is because it's the Royal Rumble. You have to put the Royal Rumble in the final 2. So yeah, Royal Rumble number 2 for me. So moving on to number 1. So finally, we made it to our number 1. And I can't believe I am saying this. I can't believe I am saying this, but it is a Saudi Arabia show. Like, I can't believe I'm saying this. A Saudi Arabia show at number 1. So my number 1 is Crown Jewel, the ending. The reason why is because The Fiend won the Universal title. Best moment of 2019. The Fiend winning the Universal title. Just come on. This, I love this match as well. This is probably one of the best Fiend matches, like, that's happened. One of the Fiend's best matches he's had ever since his debut in 2019. It has to be. I love this match. Really hard hitting. The ending of this match, Seth Rollins kicking the Fiend off the stage, the Fiend landing into the pyro area, the fireworks going off, there's fire down there, fire extinguishers, the referee bringing down the fire extinguishers, and they're like, what do we do? No, 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 you can't stop the match, Seth Rollins is going to win, no, no. And then Seth Rollins gets blinded. Seth Rollins gets blinded by one of the sparks that flew out of the thing. And then the Fiend just popped out. And just that moment is just when we all know that the Fiend was going to win. Seth Rollins was blinded. The Fiend was up. The Fiend was 100% fine. He hit the mandible claw, and that Sister Abigail on the floor. But that Sister Abigail that won him the Universal title was just so memorable, and I absolutely loved that. 1, 2, 3, and the Fiend won the Universal title, and it was a great way to end a show. And it was just amazing. Way this is definitely the best. This is definitely the best. Altogether, this show was pretty shit. To be fair, this show was pretty shit. To be fair, in the end, but in the end, the main event. This video is all about the main event, and the main event was the main event of this Crown Jewel show. The main event of this show was The Fiend vs Seth Rollins. What was the best match of the night, and probably the best moment of the year, with The Fiend, the lights going out, Fiend's like sitting on the floor for about a minute, and then the lights go out, and then you just see him with the Universal Championship. And that moment is definitely the best moment of the year. The Fiend winning the Universal Championship. So I can't believe I'm saying this. A Saudi Arabia show in first place. I can't believe I'm saying that. I cannot believe I am saying that. That is first place. But it's just the reason. The Fiend is my favourite. He's my favourite wrestler. And he's just... Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, but anyway, yeah, Crown Jewel. Altogether, the show's crap. But the main event, this show's all about the main events. Like I say, it's ranking the main events. And yeah, what a main event to end Crown Jewel. And yeah, Saudi Arabia show in first place. I can't believe it. I can't believe I put a Saudi Arabia show in first place. But yeah. But anyway, guys, Crown Jewel in number 1. But anyway, guys. Thank you for watching this match. What am I on about? Blooming heck. Thank you for watching this video. today. That's me ranking the 2019 WWE pay-per-views from worst to best. Comment down below, what was your best main event of that year? I'd like to know. But anyway guys, thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, and bye. Peace.